Alright, so I made a few of these oil covers here out of billet aluminum for my bikes, and then I've sold a few for people that were needing them. And one of the questions that come up, and it's something that I never really knew either, is just how much stronger is the billet aluminum to the originals. And so this one is one of the originals, and it had a broken tab. It was one of my broken tab ones. So right here the tab was broken. So what I want to do is just kind of see just how much stronger is the billet aluminum than the cast aluminum. And we'll try the broken tab one, and then also the big one. I'll just break all three off. And what I did is just surfaced the top off of it so I can put it in a fixture and hold it up real nice and tight. And then we can run some bolts down on it with a torque wrench and just kind of see how strong they are. So I'll torque down even that broken one and we'll see what it'll do. So we'll set up and compare these two right here. The spec to torque the bolts down normally is 10 Newton meters, so that's like 7 foot-pounds, 7.2 foot-pounds. And so we'll get set up over here with some swing wrenches, and that way I can see. I have some clickers, but I also have some of these old swing wrenches, and we can check and see just what the torque will be. This one's in inch-pounds, and then we got a bigger one in foot-pounds. So let's get set up over here and get the camera zoomed in. Let's get some bolts in here. Alright, so for our first try we're going to just see what the broken one does when I torque it down. So get the wrench on it. And right now I'm not even doing anything. I don't know if you can see the swing of the wrench there. Or not. Oh! So we didn't even get anywhere and we broke that tab. I don't even know what that number was, but it wasn't anything. So a broken tab is definitely going to break. Once it gets broken, it's just going to break. So we didn't get any kind of torque on that. So I'm just going to leave that like it is. Broke the tab right off. So now let's switch over to this one. Now this one's not broken, and so it ought to make the torque, at least. So we'll swing the torque wrench around. So without anything behind it, they're really, really weak. You can see 10 Newton meters right there with nothing back behind it. You know, normally the metal's there, and so you could just squeeze down on it. But if there was a little gap behind it or the O-ring got in the way, then you would be more like this situation. So they're still right at 10 Newton meter. Staying pretty steady at 10, so I think it's probably going to break. It's not ever tightening up anymore. So it's probably just bending it. Yep, yeah, there it went. So if there's any kind of gap behind it, right at the torque spec is about as good as you're going to get. So we're right on the limits of these things, and you can see it's broken. Now, spin a wrench on there and break it out. It actually broke out here, out on that tab. Alright, so we broke that one at about 10 Newton meters. So now let's go over to the thicker one that's on the bottom. Surely it'll go a little more. And about 10 Newton meters. And that one broke right about 10 Newton meters. So just right at the limits. If there's anything that gets behind these that doesn't allow them to seat just right, it'll break the tabs right off. So that's why I broke the tabs on my bike, and probably a lot of people break the tabs on their bikes, is because we're just right at the limits of what these little tabs can do without breaking. So now let's set up with our billet aluminum one. Now this one is the one that's got the jack screw, so I'd give odds this is pretty strong, but we do have one that looks really like the original, is this one right here. And so we can check this one with the little extra, this one, and then also the big one at the bottom. So let's put this one back on there. All right, so let's try that same experiment. So we'll start on this one down here just to see what we can pull on that one that's got that extra. So right now we're at 10 Newton meters. That's right at about where the other one snapped. There's 20. So we'll switch out over here, torque this one down a little bit. So that one went to 20, and we'll look around the bottom to actually start it bending. This one, we'll take it to 10, so there's 10. Maybe you can see it bend. There's 15. There's 20 on that one. We'll torque this one down. We'll do 20 on all of them and just see how far they go before they break. There's right about 20. There's 20 on all three. So let's just see. There's 25 all the way around. Let me get the camera down there, you can see it bending. Alright, so you can see at 25 Newton meters, which is around 220 inch pounds, it's still not broken, but what it's doing is actually bending the aluminum. And so the aluminum is so much stronger, it's actually bent it because we're just really torquing down on it at 220 inch pounds. That's quite a few foot pounds, but we'll go on down a little bit further and we'll just see what it does. Eventually it's going to do something. Hey, we finally heard something. Alright, so it finally broke at, because it broke right here on this side. That one finally broke at 30 Newton meters. So now let's try this one. This is the tab that more resembles the OE tab. Get around on this side. We'll see what it does. There we go. So that one finally broke at 40 Newton meters. Alright, so we got one more in the back, might as well do it too. And this one back here, we'll just torque him down for giggles. Let's see what he does. He's at 30 right now. There we go, around about 40. Alrighty, so there we go. Neat little study just to see how strong they were. I never really knew, and so now I know that the billet aluminum ones are a ton stronger than the OE ones. So now I have no worry about ever breaking one of these again. The ones that are made for my bike are going to last for the rest of that bike's life. Well, alrighty. Well, thanks for watching.